feel thinking. That's what I have been doing a lot of lately. I've been doing a lot of thinking, putting together my overarching philosophy of how life works, of what it means to be human in nature's energetic flow system. So there's a lot of thinking involved in that. There's a lot of feeling too, but you definitely spend a lot of time thinking. And I've started thinking about my thinking, and my thinking has become far more fruitful and productive lately because I had a great realization about thinking. And this really started because I've been really examining the fundamental core narrative that humans have, at least in the Western world, that is holding us back right now. And that is the human against nature narrative that is so deeply ingrained in us we don't even realize that we have it. I mean, it comes up in almost every conversation about everything, with people being totally unaware of it. And so I've been trying to notice everywhere that happens. And I realized that even in the act of thinking, we have that kind of tape playing inside of us about the human against nature stance of human life, right? And so thinking and mental things and things of the mind are more put in the camp of the human elevated above nature, and feeling is definitely put in the camp of the base, base not as in foundation, but base as in lower and less valid and more prone to error nature, which is, it's really almost the opposite how it actually works. But anyway, the more the animalistic, that stuff that we like to shy away from because we think we've civilized out of it because it's somehow bad or negative. And so to understand the world around us, we use our senses. Like we touch and we smell and we taste and we use our senses. And for the majority of the population, that's considered valid. And but when we're thinking, if we have any kind of sensation at all, we're taught to suppress it. I would say at this point we mostly don't even notice it. But you're not supposed to have sensations when you're thinking, because that somehow invalidates the thinking. It takes it from a high level to a lower level. It makes it prone to the emotions or prone to being tainted by some animalistic urge that's not true or correct. And aside from the fact that all of that is just plain wrong with our current understanding of how life works, aside from that, people have gotten so good at that and so used to it and so ingrained in it, we don't even notice that we have sensations while we're thinking, or at least I didn't. And the few other people that I've talked with about this didn't either, until I kind of pointed it out and they started paying attention. But the purpose of thinking serves two purposes. One is, it's an instinctual reaction when we're afraid to think, and it's fear-based thinking. And it's, pulling crazy things out of the past and applying them in a crazy way to the future. And, oh my God, something's going to happen, fight, flight, or freeze. Which then you're that can trigger the thinking, but it's fear-based thinking. Should I run? Should I do this? Should I do crazy things? It's not a flow thinking. It's not integrative thinking. So the second type of thinking is what happens when we're very, very grounded and very, very present. So we're not jumping past future, predicting, pulling out things from the past and predicting them for the future. We're in a grounded place. And we can take in all the information and make new integrations and apply them toward the future or the present. But it's integration based, it's concept based, it's grounded. And the reason for that thinking, the only reason to ever do it at all, is to produce more flow in our life. It's to give us a greater capacity to flow more energy, to be more productive, and to be more fully self-expressed, to be better understood. All those things create more flow of energy in our life, and that is the reason for thinking, is to increase that flow. So it makes sense that when you make a new integration or you start going down a path that will lead to new things, you get this sensation of flow in your body. You get this and this lightness and this kind of a little excitement, a little tingly, you feel stuff, you feel the movement, you feel things happening inside of you. And that isn't proof that your idea is right or that your integration makes sense, but it's a huge, huge, huge signal that you should keep going down that path and keep looking, because your body is telling you, this opens up a whole lot of things for me. And your subconscious can hold, we have no idea how much information it can hold. It seems infinite from our conscious perspective. It's an infinite amount of information. And your conscious mind can only hold, like 7 independent things at one time. 5 to 9, I think it is. But your subconscious has all this other stuff. So what you're feeling is this communication of your subconscious and your body working together. And there actually is energetic movement. And so when you become consciously aware of that, that's a huge, really important signal that this integration or this idea or this core of an idea or this thing that's coming, but you maybe don't quite have it yet, is a really good place to go. So keep going there, keep checking it out. And it has been so fruitful and so productive for me that I've actually gotten to the place where if I'm not feel thinking, the thinking just seems wrong. And I'm very happy to say that I've completely, stepped out of this. To feel anything when you're thinking is a sign that your thinking is inadequate. I've stepped out of it so much that I've done a complete reversal. And I now think that if I'm not feeling anything, I'm so disconnected from the grounding of my body and the sensations and from everything I know and from my subconscious that I probably shouldn't trust what I'm thinking. So feel thinking. And we actually need a new term for it, because the word thinking can apply to both things. It can be the human instinct that kicks in a fear state is thinking. Thinking is our instinct. Another animal might get out its claws or, puff up its feathers or whatever. But what we do is we start thinking, but it's a fear-based racing kind of thinking. It's not an integrated, grounded thinking. So to use that same term for completely grounded, concept-based, integrative thinking is, I think, a problem for us. And so I would say that the instinctual fear-based thinking is what's just in your head and cut off from everything else, and thus can't really be trusted. And feel thinking is the integration of all of you. It's the integration of all the knowledge, all the information, everything that's coming in through your senses, everything that's inside. It's the integration of everything that we know. So feel thinking is it's what you trust, and it's what tells you to which, keep going there, stop going there because you're feeling a lack of flow, go more over here because you're feeling more flow, and keep checking it out. Keep trying to understand it, saying, well, if that's true, if I feel more flow there, then this would be true. Is that true? And if that's true, then this would have to be true. Can I go check that out? So you're still validating it with information you can get from outside of you, from your senses, but it's directing that because because your subconscious has so much of that information already. It's already stored in there, or it can be accessing it immediately as you're talking. It's taking in tons and tons of data without the filter that the conscious mind has. So feel thinking is where it's at, and I've just been so happy with it that I felt like I should share that. I hope that helps. Thanks.